Welcome back, guys. Beautiful day here. They were actually calling for rain all day, and we're getting some cloudy weather, so I'm not complaining. I am not complaining. The reason I'm out here today, guys, is this Kenworth W900. Check it out. There is no lettering on the side. There's no license plate on it. Registration's off of it. It's cleaned up and it's getting ready to go. This is the last of the new emission engine trucks that we have, 2019. I bought 3. This is the last one. So, am I sad to see it go? Technically, no, I'm not. I wish I could stay you know, in the newer emission, like keep a couple of those, and I want to eventually, but it really doesn't make a lot of sense to keep buying these emission engine trucks, at least for right now. When price levels out, like I said, you know, we'll probably go back and purchase some more trucks, but hopefully we can get prices to stabilize, and we'll get more W900s, more new ones. Every year I get a budget to spend on equipment, and yeah, I could just say, hey, you know what, I'm going to utilize more of that budget to a new truck and just buy a little bit less equipment. I could do that, but the problem that runs into is, what's this truck worth? You know, at the end of the 5 years, you know, if I spend, you know, now these trucks are really, they're $300,000 almost $300,000. Now what? I got, you know, what's it going to be worth? And that's where I really struggle, is what's it going to be worth at the end of the day? So, got one of these guys moving behind me here. Truck number 108, come in for a load of fuel, or come in for fuel. You guys, look at the muddy tires and wheels. It's one thing here, when you see a clean Flint Creek truck, know that the driver, it takes a lot of work to have a clean truck here, because especially these local guys, it's hard for them to wash every day. They get into places where they're driving through a lot of water. You know, I try to work with some of these places where we get into to say, hey, you know what, can you help us out? Can you level all the driveways and things like that? But it's tough, and they don't want to really put gravel on the driveway, so we end up with a lot of dirty equipment. So back to this truck. One of the things that I wanted to point out or check out, and I know in one of the other videos I had said, hey, does it have this right here? Yes, it does. So I think on that one piece, like this one piece that comes up, is broke off. I never really pay attention. You know, I'm always looking, you know, usually when we're having issues, right, you know, we're working on more of these older trucks. We've updated some of these suspensions and things like that, and none of these have it on. So I think that day cab glider, that would be one of the first trucks that we got in with the 8-bag suspension. That is a newer glider. A lot of the gliders that we were getting in that were new was the 4-bag suspension, so that's why I did not recognize this. And these trucks, I mean, these trucks have been very solid. You know, they don't come in the shop that often at all. I might see them in for a service or whatever, and I don't really pay attention to that because I have no reason to look back here. I mean, yeah, look at the rust, but some of the other stuff I've never really paid attention to. The other thing I want to check out is see where we're at on this full locking rear. And I was one of the guys in the shop said, hey, you know what, our trucks do have these 3 switches, and I wanted to come in here and make sure. So this is, shame on me, and that shows me how much I drive truck and how much I run, especially some of this new stuff. There are 3 lockers, and maybe I just forgot about it, but now I'm in here and I can see that yes, these are a full locking rears. But I'm so used to some of the other trucks that we have do not have this, so our new ones are the only ones that have these full lockers. The other ones are just 2. You know, there's just 2 buttons to flip over. Again, I'm used to the old style, the old school dash. So I put very few miles on these new trucks. Usually I'm running, if I run one of the spare trucks, one of the older trucks, and I'm not in any of these new ones. So means I need to get out and drive a little bit more and stay up to date. So maybe just a little more info on this truck. This truck has about 360,000 miles on it. and it has been a good truck for us. It did need some engine work though, but it was all under warranty, and this truck is still under warranty. So the next owner still's got 30 to 40,000 miles of warranty left. So been a great truck for us. A little bit of work that we had to do to it, but overall hasn't been too bad. We did have to run it back and forth to Kenworth a few times, and that's always a frustrating side of these new trucks, whereas these older trucks, we don't have to do that. We can work on them here, and basically you have a sensor go bad, it's got to go back to Kenworth, whereas the pre-emission engine truck is not a big deal. We don't have sensors and all this little stuff that goes out on them. So it's been a lot easier for our staff to work on these trucks. Anytime this truck's getting picked up, this truck is sold, and the truck that is replacing this truck is that new white glider in there. You've seen the video on that. So hopefully by now that truck is on the road and making us money. We had a lot of work that got done this winter in this shop. We had a lot of guys on staff, and we went through a lot of trucks, a lot of equipment, and that's in the wintertime it's tough because we are rebuilding stuff, we're updating stuff, changing stuff, and then in the summer we hope that the rest of the year all the trucks can run well. It does cost a bit extra in the winter, and then our trucking revenue is down because we're not as busy in the winter. But it works out good because there's plenty of equipment. They can kind of go through some of that stuff. Hopefully Jason from Regional will be here shortly, and he will pick up this truck. If you guys have interest in it, talk to Jason at Regional. He'll hook you up with a great deal. And this truck is a solid truck. It's got warranty yet. It does have emissions. It's still factory stock truck. You can have the emission part of it. That's the part that I'm kind of leery of, but I'm sure you could buy extended warranty because this isn't out of warranty yet. I'm kind of leaning and sticking towards some of these older trucks because we are a long ways off from electric trucks. We're a long ways off from some of this stuff coming down the pipeline. So there's my rant. Well, good morning, guys. This morning, I'm heading over to Hard Hat Expo, which I'm here. And I got Vanessa with me. You gonna say hi? I was hoping to bring Xander, but my diaper changing skills, not the hottest. I mean, I'm okay with the wet ones, but when it goes beyond that, that's where it gets a little sketchy. So we're gonna see what they got here. Hopefully they have a truck or two. If not, I still got to look at maybe a potential screener or something like that for this summer to see what options are out there for screening the topsoil that we have that I pushed up last year. See what they got here. They don't have a lot of trucks here, but they have some Macs here, so we'll go check it out. I think they're showing off some trailers, Rogers. This thing looks very clean. It's a 98. Looked up on the registration. It's a 98 Mac. Look how clean it is. It's not too bad for a Mac. A 1998, that clean, pre-emission. I mean, I'm impressed, but maybe like any pre-emission truck though it's good. So more than likely that truck could have very low miles on it, because if they just use it to haul equipment to and from the show, you're not going to get a lot of miles on it. Another Mack truck over here. Got this Kenworth. Cool little setup. This is a fairly new truck here. So I know very little about Macks, but what did catch my eye, that's a red motor under there, and I didn't know that Mack put Cummins in their engine, in their trucks. So maybe you guys can help me out. That sure looks like a Cummins engine. Well, that's interesting. I learned something new today. Cummins is, I'll have to research it and look if Mack is actually putting Cummins in. That would be interesting if they are. Usually they always build their own engine. So, all right, guys, we're gonna head back. Not a big show. This show definitely downsized. It seemed like a lot of shows downsized, but one show I will be at is Louisville Truck Show. So I don't know if you'll be seeing this video though before the truck show or after, but hopefully Louisville Truck Show is going to be a good show. Well, guys, 2 days later, the truck's still here. We had to do a couple things to it. One was the visor. We actually swapped out the visor. We were trying to get match the exact same visor that was on this truck. The driver that was driving it, the truck that we put him into, he kind of liked the visor, so we swapped that visor out and put a new visor on here because they don't make the 6-inch visor anymore. At least RLK doesn't. So that was kind of the visor we wanted, or kind of we'd swap it out for him. So the extent we go to for our drivers, right? So the other thing that we did is we took the tires and wheels off the white truck that just came in, that 2018 glider. We took tires and wheels off there, front and back, and put them on here because they like to, you know, when they go to sell a truck, resell a truck, they like to have virgin rubber on it. So we don't mind the recaps. I have no issues with it. We have plenty of recaps available, so I figured, you know what, we'll get them swapped out, and this truck is good to go. So this morning the guy's coming in. The guys had to swap that visor out quick yesterday. It's kind of a last minute thing, but I think we're all good to go now, and this truck will probably be leaving here before too long.
So I'm sure Justin's had this on his video, but wanted to update you on 156. This glider that he brought in. It looks a little different than last time I videoed it. Had a few things torn apart. We got, you see the tape around the handle. We had to buff this out because we wanted to get some paint brought in for little spots like that. We put the other visor on, so there's a spot there that we wanted to get some paint for and get buffed in, trying to get that looking a little bit better. In the back there's quite a few little spots up in the top, but last video we did on it, when him and I were going over it, we talked about the lights. We ended up putting the 2-color lights in there that we put in. We got our hydraulics on the deck. We don't have them yet hooked up. We're working on it. You can see over there the thing coming out the top of the tank fitting, sorry. Just looking things over. We found a few other things. There's a front bracket, you see right down there, the new pin. That pin that pin actually was wearing up into the top of this bracket. So this front bracket, I'm not sure the official name for it, but that had to get replaced. Little things like that. Did some lines on the motor. These tubes here, one of our guys re-welded them because they were, well, let's just say they weren't great. So he went through and re-welded them up, put new ends on them. They were definitely needing to be done. So we're getting to it. Got a pyrometer I gotta install. I always like to let the guys know what their temperatures are. Still got to work on that broken stud there. We got it out without having to pull anything apart, so just got to put the new one in. Ran things like these coolant lines here they were on the edge enough that it's a good time to get them replaced. We started to a little bit ago. You see I got this wrap here, but I brought in this, it's a high heat poly wrap, and the loom that we had been putting on some of our other stuff, like this up here, that was melting just down in this area kind of because of the heat from right here. So this loom here is like a high heat loom, and I think it looks pretty cool sitting on the blue like that. So we've been putting quite a bit of it on this truck. Tomorrow one of the guys is going to be building the brackets. He took one of the old ones off there. Going to be building the brackets for the exhaust. We're not really doing too much back here as far as redoing anything. That was all good, but I got these two trucks in here, and this here is truck 112. This is a 99 day cab that we had shortened, and I don't know how many inches we shortened it, but we got brackets, picket elbows, just 6-inch straight, and that's pretty much the same we want to do with this truck. Nice and simple and clean. I always like that look. Justin has a lot of his trucks that we've set up over the years that way, trying to keep it that way. We have our filter here. Timothy's working on putting that together. Picket elbows, top stacks, spools, they're here. We're actually on this one, we're putting the guards on. The driver likes to step from his cab around to his deck plate, so I'm gonna give him a guard for the exhaust and a handle on it. Nothing fancy, just nice looking chrome guard. So we got a bunch more stuff in here tonight. I'll take you over to the day cab and show you what we got done on the frame. But we got the hood off because we were going to paint it. Justin had pointed out this panel here had some paint issues. There was paint down around here that was not looking so good, but when we got it off, started looking at it a little bit more, there was, this is a pop rivet, that's a pop rivet, that's cracked there. Sorry if I'm moving too fast. That's cracked there, and this, I thought, oh, there's a bubble in the paint, but it's not. It's actually just about worn through on that brace that goes across here. So we're going to be looking at this panel and probably this panel, because there's a pretty good dent here. I went around and circled everything, and we'll see what we can do with a few little waves there here. This I think we can take out okay just with a body hammer, but the hood, grill, and everything, that's okay. We've just got to get some of the stuff done. Some more exhaust I got through Exhaust Specialties down in PA. The 107's in here. We're new driver went in it, and just little preference things. There wasn't much we did in here. Got some new speakers in it for him, but we put just a little bit of blue underneath. Kind of gives it something, make it look kind of cool in there. Just little things you can do that aren't super expensive. So this thing looks like it's getting torn right down there, because it is. We're going to get into the cups on the injectors. Had coolant coming through where it shouldn't be. Gotta look at the tanks, get them redone. And this here, Justin had talked about the frame. He pointed out down in this area and on the other side there had been a crack. So we ended up V'ing it out, and it welded in very nicely. We plated it. You can see the end of the plate here all the way to up here, and put our brackets back on anyways. We did end up getting alignment. It was way out. He explained more of it on his video, but ended up replacing this cross member here. That was all cracked up, and it's coming right along. We put new springs in the front, and now, I don't know if you can tell by the camera, but now she's sitting, instead of sitting this way, she's sitting up nice and straight. Got a service in here. That one's in for some turbo work. That's the 2014 389 106. This thing came in because it had some brake issues, so he had taken the S-cam tubes off and put the new bushing kits in. Just regular maintenance stuff that these older trucks need quite a bit of. That's another ISX. I believe these are the last two ISX we have. But here, 154, this went out and ran, I think she ran a good 5,000 to 5,500 miles, and no real issues with it. Justin was concerned about some of the injectors, but we put some cleaner through the tanks, and she really seemed to smooth right out. So it's, the driver waxed it down and everything. He took vacation, and we've got it in here. We ended up putting the Hodge-built fenders on. They're not really blind mount, because you can see the bolts, but the mounts in there, and that made it look a lot nicer on the back. But we also added the chicken lights for them, and we were able to, there was enough already on the truck that made it worth us. We put the clear lens on the tops and on the blinkers. These were all clear, and those were all clear before. But it's just a very nice looking truck, and I'm happy with it. I'm glad we got it. So that's kind of a little look at what we got in here right now. I'm sure Justin will be touching on some stuff about the show. From the show, I went out with him, had a great time out there. A lot of people seem to know who he is. So that was good to go out. A lot of trucks out there were really pretty, really nice, but when it comes down to it, these trucks are, I like these things, especially something like this. That's a good working truck. And that right there, we did that truck, I want to say 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and she looks pretty good. Just regular maintenance to it, and she's running. So things like that one, that's going to need some more to look that good. But being a 99, it was repainted once that I know of, and just your typical corrosion has that coming on it. So back paneling it when we do it, more than likely. Just a bunch of stuff going on in the shop.
All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.